this actually keeps your face warm. What's up guys, my name is Phil. Welcome to Miranda Detailing, where we make satisfying detailing videos. In today's video, we're going to give you some tips for mobile detailing in the winter. All right guys, it's that time of year again, and man, even though we're here in Richmond, Virginia, winter came a little early. So just 2 days ago, it was 70 degrees and sunny, and we were biking in shorts and t-shirts, and now it is 38 degrees out, and we have freezing temperatures at night. Now, that's not going to be a common thing here in Richmond. We have a couple of days, maybe a week or two, and then it warms back up to 60s, maybe 70s, even during the winter, but it goes back and forth. But for a mobile detailer, we have to deal with the weather and the elements. Now, how do we keep all of our equipment warm in our trailer? Well, we'll show you how we do that. We're also going to give you some tips on how to work in the winter. Now, if you're in a northern area where you have winter from here into March and April, it can be difficult. So if you are a mobile detailer, say in the Northeast or in the north of this country where you're going to have winter from now on, and this is your business, then hang on. We'll try to give you some tips on staying warm, keeping your equipment warm, and also how to detail in the winter. So let's first talk about our trailer. We have the 6x10 enclosed trailer, and it's not really well insulated. I wasn't really able to tear all the panels and insulate everything. That just would have been more time and cost. However, what we do is, since we're here at our home, I basically plug it into shore power, I guess is what some campers would call it. So I have the trailer rigged up to be able to plug into the house and then have power inside of the trailer. Now back here, you'll notice that I have products on the doors here, and you may be thinking, don't those freeze? Well, no, actually the heater that we have does a really good job. So let's bring you around to the other side and show you what we have going on to keep the trailer warm. Okay guys, so let's look at what we have going on here. So I have a little heater here, and you'll notice it says 45. These have different modes. This you can turn on to simply go all the way up to 72, and you can turn it all the way down to 60 is the lowest it'll go. All right, and it'll go all the way up to 90. So that can be a set temperature, and it will go all the way up to that temperature and then shut off. It also has another mode, 45 degrees here, and you'll see, if you can, the degrees there and the little snowflake. This is an anti-freeze mode. When it gets down to 45, it kicks on. So once it hits 45 degrees in here, that kicks on. It tries to maintain above 45 degrees. Now I know that might seem excessive. You may want it to just be above freezing, but it's much better this way. You want it to be way above freezing so that your chemicals and your products here do not ever even get close to the freezing point. Now yes, this is going to cost you some money. However, it's the cost of doing business in a mobile trailer like this, mobile detailing. I picked this one up years ago at Walmart, but I'll look for some selections and I'll put links down below that you can buy on Amazon, but get one that has an anti-freeze mode that will turn on automatically. Now if you notice, I have the trailer rigged up. I actually have power going down to the floor here, and here I have a little power outlet. So when it's plugged into the house, into shore power it's called, this lights up and this becomes powered. This here goes to here, where I have all sorts of power plugs for my phone, for the batteries, for the camera, all that good stuff. I also have my coffee maker here. This, if you have a trailer or a van, get yourself a little Keurig, because you can make coffee and tea, and this will keep you warm. It just makes things so much nicer and easier. Now I know some guys are going to say they don't have the luxury of doing that. They're in a truck or in a van that they just don't have that. I apologize. I'm sorry. I've only had this trailer for a year. Once I had the trailer, I rigged everything up like this, and I made sure to have a coffee pot in here. I even had a toaster in here, which I'll probably put back in here. But if you have a trailer, this is really... Wow, something is hitting the roof. This is mainly for guys who have larger trailers and maybe larger vans, that you have a setup like this to keep everything warm and, well, some nice amenities. Now once I'm unplugged and I have the generator going, this plug right here is powered by the generator. So it goes to the generator, and I simply unplug this and plug it into here, and now all of this can be run by the generator. Again, I will keep this in here, and if it's really cold, then I will simply kick this on and close the doors, and we'll come in here and warm up if we need to, and that's how we stay warm. Now let's talk about water. You see my water tank in here? Again, this keeps everything warm. Nothing's gonna freeze. But you'll notice that it's all the way back here. Now I never have a problem with anything freezing. As long as that heater is kicking on, yeah, you can bring it up a little closer. You can put it up on here if you want, or you can face it so that the heat comes over here, but nothing freezes back here. It's completely fine. As long as all the doors are closed, it heats up there nice and warm enough to keep everything from not freezing. So I never have a problem with anything freezing in the back here of the trailer during the winter. Just make sure all your doors are closed and you have your heater on. That's just the most important thing, is to have that heater on in there. I've forgotten a couple of times and things froze a little bit, but they weren't too bad. I was able to just warm everything up. Okay guys, so that's kind of the ins and outs of the trailer and keeping everything warm in there with that heater. But now when you're on the job, how do you keep everything warm? Now granted, if you're working on a super cold day, if it's 35 degrees and windy, you're gonna have a wind chill that's gonna be below freezing, so you may have to call it a day. Be very careful when working in super cold temperatures, because when you have water freezing onto the vehicle, that poses a lot of problems. And we've actually worked in just above freezing, about 34 degrees with the windshield. It made it colder. We snow foamed the vehicle and it froze right on. Nice thick layer of snow foam. And we basically had to take all the hot water from the buckets that we had and rinse it all off and just reschedule for the next day, which it was warmer the very next day. Then we had warmer temperatures and it was sunny and it was fine. But if it's super cold, if you can muscle your way through it, if you have interior details or waterless or rinseless washes, you can do that. But if you're going to really do a traditional wash in the exterior of the vehicle, call it a day, reschedule. It'll actually waste time and product. So be wary of that. But on our way to the jobs, we fill up our buckets with hot water, as hot as we can get it. So I basically have a little separate tap on my washer down in the basement. So I have a little separator there and I plugged it right up to the hot water and I fill the buckets up with hot water. Sometimes I'll fill 2 to 3, well, usually 2 buckets, of course, but 3 or 4 buckets hot water, and that'll last me through the day. Now, sometimes it's colder than I thought and the hot water will get cold towards the afternoon. Now I have a solution for that. So guys, this little thing here, it's not a machine gun. It is a bucket heater. This is actually made for farm equipment. It's made to put in water troughs for animals to basically have the water not freeze. But this is perfect to put in your bucket. Now I know what you might be thinking, this thing looks deadly, right? It looks dangerous. Just use it with caution. It does say here that you insert this right into the water. Now again, this is used for farm equipment, so farmers who are using this know how to use it safely. You have your plug here. It's going to be far enough away from your water source, your bucket. Once you plug this into your generator or at the house, this thing will heat up and it doesn't get the water boiling. It doesn't get it super, super hot, but it will maintain the hot water that you have in your bucket. So all you need to do is place it in like that, plug it in, and it turns on automatically. Now, I don't know if this has an auto shut off feature. I don't think it does. So what I will do when I notice that it is kind of steaming water, I put it in there and I kind of put the cover on it gently like this, and it will heat up the water. And then when you remove and you're going to use it, you'll notice the water stays very, very hot. Really, really nice to dunk your hands in warm to hot water when working on the vehicle. So I'll have links to this thing down below. Again, just use it with caution, be smart about water, but this thing is all sealed in. If you look at it, it's all sealed up and it's designed to use with water. So this thing has saved us so many days, cold days where we're dunking our hands into water. Yeah, we do use the black nitrile gloves, and we even have thicker gloves that we use when we're washing, because you don't want your hands to be in and out of water and then getting cold as well. It wrecks my hands. Wearing gloves kind of wrecks my hands anyway, especially if my hands are sweating in them. But in cold weather, I wear my gloves pretty much all day for the jobs. And when you're putting it in and out of the water, it warms them up and it feels so, so good. That's an awesome tip to keep your buckets hot, keep that water nice and hot. Now I know some may also say that it's not good to use super hot water on vehicles. It's not as hot as you think. It feels hot to your skin, but on the vehicle, it's fine. It's okay. It's not a big deal. Don't overthink it. It's fine to use warm or even hot water. Once it hits the air, it hits the panel, it cools down so quickly and it's not a problem. Now I know some will say that using hot water, it will freeze faster on the vehicle. I haven't really found that to be the case. In our case, when we're using warm water like this, we're working fast, we're working efficiently. So we're foaming the vehicle, we're washing it, we're rinsing it down again, so it's not a big deal. It actually works really, really well in this instance, and it actually warms up the panels just a little bit, and then we use our heated blow dryer to dry the vehicle. Now, speaking of the heated dryer, here's the little dryer that we use. We love this thing. It is awesome. It's actually designed as a dog grooming blow dryer. Very affordable. This thing here was $50 or $60 on Amazon, and it is extremely powerful. If you want to spend money on those really nice blowers that have dual motors in them that blow, the master blasters and all those things, those are expensive. If you're a mobile detailer on a budget, you don't have money to spend up to $300 on just a blower. This I have found to be the best alternative, and it's heated. And yes, it's also filtered. If you go back here, you take this off and there's actually a mesh filter in here. So you're getting heated, filtered air. All that for 50 or 60 bucks, I say it's a win. I have links to this down below. Now you may notice that I kind of customized it. I put it on a little thing here with wheels. Yeah, it's a little shoddy, but you can install wheels on the bottom here a little bit better than I did. But I actually widened the base so it doesn't tip over. And it works really well. I just drag it around the vehicle and the hose will expand and you can dry all the crevices, the engine bay, dry the paint, and it's nice warm air. You can even put it on your shirt and warm yourself up if you want to. So guys, when you're washing the vehicle with your buckets of water, I usually separate the wheel bucket and I will pour water into a smaller wheel bucket like this here. And there's nothing like washing wheels and tires with hot water. Foam everything up, it's nice and hot, the cleaning action is so much better. You'll see a huge difference when you're cleaning the wheels and the tires and wheel wells with hot water. The chemicals seem to work better. It's just an overall better experience. When you have hot water in your buckets washing the vehicle, trust me, you will love it. Same with the inside. You can wet the microfiber towels in hot water and warm water, and it's so much better even working on the interior. And just a tip, when you're working on the interior, just make sure to have the keys. You usually would anyway, but sometimes people don't think of just turning on the vehicle and blasting the heat. Completely fine to do. If you're working outdoors and it's freezing cold, you'll notice that nothing cleans right in extreme heat or in extreme cold. Nothing seems to work. So make sure that you turn on the heat in the vehicle, have that blowing, warm up the vehicle, things will work out so much better. Plus, you will be much happier. No one wants to work in extreme cold. Now guys, what about dressing? I know this should seem common knowledge, but dress in layers. If you have a base layer, I would suggest, I'll have some links down below to kind of like running or biking gear, where you have a base layer that you wear, long pants as well, kind of like long underwear. That makes a huge difference. You get ones that are compression, that also helps. It actually helps with your muscles and your joints. It actually makes your body feel better, and it keeps everything warmer, and it breathes as well. Have layers, dress in layers, because sometimes during the day, if it does warm up, you want to peel those layers off, and you won't be wet under there, because that's also not good for your body. So you want to remain dry, everything to be dry. Now, having those black nitrile gloves, I'll put a link to some of them down below, but get really nice, super thick ones that you can wear throughout the entire job. In the winter, when my hands are not sweating, I can wear those gloves up to 3 to 4 hours and they're completely fine. I'm not sweating in them and they're not wrecking my hands. So definitely consider those. Now, another cool tip is get yourself one of these masks. Now, these kind of have a dual purpose for us. They are carbon filtered masks, and I know many of my viewers are saying you need to wear a respirator, you need to wear a mask. When you're in the summer in extreme heat and humidity, if you wear a respirator or even something like this for a long period of time, I've done research and it does limit your oxygen intake. And when your body is already deprived of water, probably even dehydration, things like that, you can only wear those respirators for so long, and they can actually cause respiratory problems. Yes, they can. If you wear them for too long, it's actually reducing the amount of oxygen that your body is taking that you need. So be very careful with those. I rarely wear them because I am outside. If I was maybe in a shop environment, yes, because you can control the atmosphere in there to a degree. But when we're working in extreme heat, I can't wear gloves for long periods of time, and I can't wear masks for long periods of time. It actually hurts my health more than it saves it, believe it or not. I know some are going to not like that, and they're going to comment about all sorts of different things, but I've had a little bit of training on respirators, and I'm going to go with the knowledge that I learned from professionals. And when I'm out on the job, time is money, and I know there's a balance there. You need to be careful, you need to have proper PPE, but you also need to make sure to get your jobs done within a certain amount of time. That's the game that you have to play. That's the balance that you have to strike. But here's a good product to use that kind of fits that bill, and it's not too extreme. It does have the carbon filter. It's not a true respirator that will completely take out all of the different chemicals and vapors, but it does help. Having the charcoal filter does help a lot. And this is something that is light on your face, and in the winter it's perfect because it actually will keep your face warm. So I'll give you a close-up look at this mask. So this mask is really nice. All these little pieces actually will come apart. You can buy separate pieces online. You have the carbon filter and it Velcros behind your face. So you'll probably notice in our winter videos, my wife and I will probably wear these as we're washing around the vehicle. We'll be all bundled up. We'll have our scarves and our hats and everything because it does get, you know, a little chilly and windy. So this actually keeps your face warm and it does change my voice a little bit. No, in all seriousness, this is actually a very nice mask. It's very comfortable and you can breathe in it without it suppressing too much oxygen. If you are wearing sunglasses though, it does kind of fog them up, but that's okay. You can deal with that. When you're in cold temperatures, you'll be thankful that you have a mask like this. Now, I actually used this mask for a gross vomit job and it did a good job of actually filtering out the smell. So these charcoal masks do really work for chemicals and some vapors, maybe not the really nasty toxic vapors. You don't want to be painting a vehicle with clear coat and base coat with a mask like this, but for detailing, this is actually a perfect solution without having to go full respirator. These are light and I think they really work well for me. So guys, that's it for some of my winter tips and suggestions for one thing, keeping your trailer warm if you have a trailer or a van, and also working out in the elements. Guys, it can be rough if you're a mobile detailer working outdoors through the winter. If you're in an area that you do get some winter cold and snow, it can be rough. If you're up in the north, tell me guys, how do you do it? How do you detail up in, say, the Northeast or in other states where you get a lot of snow and you are mobile? How do you do it? Do you basically just kind of take a vacation during the winter if you can, or do you work through it and figure out ways to wash and detail vehicles? I'd love to know, so let me know down below. Guys, if you have any other tips, I know I didn't explain everything in this video. I'm sure there's many other things that you can do to keep yourself warm and work through the winter as a mobile detailer. Let me know what you do, some other tips that would be useful for other people watching the video. So I hope you guys are enjoying the content. If you do, consider subscribing and clicking that bell. That way you get notifications each time our videos drop each week and you don't miss stuff. And if you want to pick up some of our warm apparel, we have some hoodies on there as well, some new designs, front and back. Then check out the links down below and you can purchase any of those items on our store and put in Miranda 25 for 25% off. The merchandise that we sell on there, the profits that we get on there, go right back into the channel and support it, and also supports giveaways on our channel. I'd love to be able to get more tools and products to give away to you. So guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. So stay warm and we'll see you next time. Take care.